Hello, welcome to another D.L. Howard paint. I'm going to go ahead and do an ocean scene that my friend took on vacation. It's got some green and teal blue ocean and a nice little sandy beach. So I'm going to go ahead and I actually sketched out a little area where I'm going to put the rocks and place them and the mountain that I'm going to have in there. So I'm going to do the light sand first because that's just the easiest. And I just have some, like a little bit of a tan color in there. I'm just gonna spread that around just like that. And I think I'm gonna add a little yellow and a little bit of this orange maybe. And rinsing that brush out. So I'm just scribbling that in there. And so these areas that I wanted a little bit lighter, I'm going to take out the paint. Oops. And that's what I get for leaving water or colors on there. So I'm going to use that kind of in the shadow area. Let's do that over here. So these little darker areas, and that's fine if it's that color, it doesn't matter. These little colored areas I'm going to leave, and I'm going to just kind of take some of that dark and just kind of keep it in this area, just like that, just like that. And it just indicates that there's a little bit more shadow, a little bit more that's going on in this area. I kind of like that orangey shadow effect, so I'm going to keep going with it. It doesn't have to be the real colors. It can be whatever colors I want. Just as long as there's a variation. So I can kind of go over that yellow. And I'm going to come in here a little bit, get some more in there. Like I said, just making a variation and, of course, hiding a mistake. There we go. And it's just muted. It's kind of like something's going on there. Everybody knows. Okay, perfect. And then now that that's done, this is going to actually stay white, so I might save that for the very last. And then I'm going to do the ocean, but up in here we have a mountain that I'm going to do. This is going to be a little bit of green mainly, so we're going to switch brushes. And I'm going to do these kind of a darker green here and just kind of come in this area. This is where the mountain is. I want to go light. I don't want to go heavy, and I want to kind of purposefully leave some areas that are blotchy because I'm going to go with some darker colors. And this is, of course, where that fades in. So I'm just going to kind of do different greens in there, giving it a little bit of texture. Always darker in the bottom. And then as we come up here, it's just kind of getting the illusion that there's some foliage up there. I'm going to do a little bit of a darker green here. And as the mountains kind of come out a little bit, I'm just going to do less and less. I haven't committed to what color I'm going to make those just yet. I may keep them a little bit green just because it goes with the continuity of the painting. So I really like this dark green here. Oh. So I just want to kind of gently get these colors in these darker areas. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and keep that. There's a little valley here, a little valley here. bit over this mountain here. I'm going to keep it. Okay, just like that. And like I said, I'm just going in a little bit more with a little bit of these darker variations to give some texture in there. And I'm not actually going to do a whole lot with the colors in these mountains. I'm going to keep them like this. Just kind of make it look like there's a little bit of foliage over here. And just like that. Very little, not too much. Normally I would do the blue first, but in this case I actually did want to get that green kind of laid out first. I'm going to just kind of take a little bit of water and kind of define this line a little bit. This time I make sure that I don't take any unwanted colors. That actually is pretty good. I have my towels up here. And I'm just pushing up against that green in these areas so that I can put more green where I didn't want it. It's okay. Good. Perfect. Okay. Now I'd like to go ahead and get up in the sky and get some of this blue going. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go along where the mountain is, but not touch the mountain. And then go straight out. Just gentle. I'm going to pull that out. I'm just wetting my brush. So I'm keeping my towel here because it's going to bleed because my brush is very wet. So I'm just preparing for that. So I'm just going to gently hover around the edge of this mountain. And I'm taking that wet brush and I'm just kind of fluffing it in little layers, if you can see. There we go. And that way I'm not disrupting the green too much and I'm not blending these two colors together and kind of like backfilling, I guess. Just like that. Beautiful. And I'm just going to keep going and taking it out. Need my reference frame picture in. And now I'm just going to kind of take it up a little bit. Push the color up. There we go. Just like that. I want it very defined. Ooh, I've got some orange up here that shouldn't be. This shouldn't exist up here. Not in my happy world. No. Not today. Not today. Beautiful. Okay. And I want to make sure that these are very soft and not a very stark difference. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next color, which is a little bit more brilliant, I guess. Going up high, and I'm going to bring it down low. I'm going to segue with a little bit of a different color here. And I just wet my brush, so I'm really careful as I come back down not to let it drip too much. I'm going to bridge these two colors together. Just like that. Absolutely just like that. Okay. Now, the water. This is a very green and blue. So I'm actually mixing the two back in here. The darkest is going to be the furthest away. Okay. And as I come in, There we go, just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and get some more green and more blue. Pulling it in from the back here. I'm not getting a good enough blue. There we go. And I'm pulling from the side just so I can get a natural blend of the two colors. Okay, and I want to be careful and keep in mind what's going to go here. And some of these I'm okay with, like as I get more blue, I'm going to be just fine with letting it fade into here and letting some of that white kind of go together. So I need to do some corrections back here. I got too much blue. Okay. I might be able to correct this with a little bit of white. I'm going to go try and fade these together a little bit so I can blend the back in. And I'll let some of these kind of dance around and wet some of that foreground. Just going to put a little bit more blue in here and a little bit more green in some spots. Wonderful. That looks beautiful. Makes me want to go there now. I'm wetting my brush just a little bit so I can blend these. And I want to be really careful coming over here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Not gonna lie. Oops. Oh, that's all right. Let's dab that in. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do some white. And I'm just gonna go with a very fluffy. Oh, I'm gonna have to clean this out first. Hold on. I think I actually have a white. No, that's a brown. There. So I'm just gonna suck out the water here with this dirty towel. Get some of my white exposed. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want a little bit of. My black is right next to it, so it's picking up all of the black. I don't want that much gray. I can have a little bit, but not that much. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is get a little bit of this white in here first. And I'll try and fluff it around a little bit. So, just like that. I'm just tapping that. And this is a Chinese white. Don't care that it's not stark white. I just want it to kind of carry in there. Just dance over those. Because what I'm going to do is take my acrylic white, which is why I keep little trays all over the place. Because when I want white, I put it back in this way. It's not how you do a watercolor, but it's how I do a watercolor. So now I've got some white on my brush here over the Chinese white. The Chinese white is giving me a little bit of the darker gray that's coming in with that water. So this is just kind of a little bit over the top of the coverage to give me like the ocean effect. And I'm just gonna kind of blend it. It's great for coverage in between the two and bridging the gap. So now you've got like the waves that are coming in. And I'm just dancing them in the back there. As they're in the further back, they're not as white there. So I can do a little bit of this. And there we go. And then I'm just going to kind of make it look like there's little streaks here of pools coming in. here. That looks lovely. I like that. Looks like little streaks of white just kind of coming in on the ocean. And there's a little bit of streaks coming back. And it's pretty in line there, and then as it gets closer to closer here, it gets a little bit more. And you might even have some of these like having a little bit of a darker green through that, so I can grab that watercolor. It's very forgiving with acrylic using with the watercolors. They can work together very creatively. You know, a little bit of a kind of wave movement going on over here, hitting up against the rocks. And I'm just kind of crisscrossing that way. Oops. I got some orange in that one. It's called a reflection. There. So I'm just kind of hatching these. And a little bit more green. Okay, a little bit more green. A little bit more than that. Okay, good deal. And I can get the white in there. Make it look like it's crashing against that. The last thing we need to do is add the rock, and I can use that black in here now to outline it where I want it. And I'll just do one more little Chinese white there. And I'm gonna add some the oceans. Ooh, that came off. It's kind of crashing up against that, so I wanted to give that. Okay. And as for the rock, we're going to do a little bit of this same kind of method I did up here. A little bit of the black, and I'm just going to kind of drag it down like this. I want it a little bit like not so wet. And then there we go, just like that. And then on this side, okay. And I'm going to take some of that Chinese white and also pull down a little bit here. I'm doing a little bit of this blue in here too. I think having those colors in there is good, kind of tying the picture together. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the exact colors of what's in nature. It just has to show the dynamics of the different colors, the shapes and lights and shades that go into it. So that's what makes it fun, being creative, letting a rock be blue and black. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is do a little fine liner brush of some black that kind of really outlines this rock here. Just a little bit of detail here. And I'm covering up my mistakes because every little spot that isn't perfect, I can actually kind of hide and do a different variation with, and it just gives more character for the rock to be in place here. And then these little spots over here. Just hiding mistakes, that's all it is. Okay, looks good. I think I'm happy with that. I'm good. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign that and be done. Use that same liner brush I just had. Thank you so much for watching. And A little bit here. You'd think 2s and 0s would be easy. They're not. Thank you so much to all my virtual poker followers and all my virtual followers and all my real followers. You guys are the best. Big reveal. A little French Mediterranean scene. There we go. And all done. Thank you so much for watching.